Hey friends, welcome back. I'm Shawn with Manly Made Minute, and welcome back to another episode of my design team series for Include a Thank You by Red Tangles. Today we're doing some holiday. I want to give out some holiday here. I've been doing those fall leaves from her, and I haven't given as much love to her new holiday set. So I know I've been turning those fall leaves into holiday, but now it's time to give this true holiday set some love. And I've done a couple cards with them. I've got them posted out there on YouTube, and I've got them posted on my Instagram. But today I was starting to think about these, and I was like, there's got to be a way just to do simple. I was making a card with some candy canes on it for another person, and I just thought, red and white. What screams Christmas besides red, white, and green, right? And so, red and white. We're going red and white. I'm going to glam this red and white. So I'm going kind of candy cane theme, but we're going to glam it up, obviously, with some little shimmer and some powder and some shiny stuff. So I want to show you what we're going to do. We're going to get in some embossing. We're going to do some embossing folder, kind of do a little mixed stuff here with this card. So let's head on down. Let's just go ahead and take a look at what I have. And all right, let's just start with the stamp sets. This is her new Tangled. This is the Tangled Ornaments holiday set. All right, I have done cards with every single one of these. They're out there. Just go look for them. I did a release video, a release live with a whole bunch of examples of this. I'm using all three today. And so I've got some pre-work done just to kind of make this easy and simple. Then, because this one here is exactly the same as, is this a Tangled in Bloom? Yeah, this is a Tangled in Bloom set, and same thing. We're going to use this element here for the inside of my card, okay? And so we're going to kind of combine some. I like how she's got, her designs are starting to cross over, where you can mix and match all these sets together. And that's what I want to do today, because I want to just kind of show you how this holiday set alone looks great, but then we can mix a little bit of all these other elements in there on the inside and carry that theme in and kind of mix it up, right? So you're going to have to, I'm sorry, you're going to like this card when we're done, and you're going to have to get both sets, but there you have it. And just as a full disclosure, these have been supplied to me free of charge. I am a design team member for Desiree, and however, I do not get any commission on them. I just thoroughly love her products and love showing them for you all and showing you what all we can do. So let's get started. Let me show you what I've pre-done here. I have stamped these out, all three of these, and embossed them. And what I've decided to do, because I told you we're going to go glammy, I did glitter, okay? So you can kind of see that little sparkle if that light will catch this right. There we go. Nice and glittery. So I used Wow Embossing glitter, and this is just red glitz, all right? I have found, I usually stamp these 3 times, and then I put the powder over at least twice to get a nice good amount on there before I heat emboss it. Then we're going to take, and I'm going to emboss my background. I'm going to stay white on this because I'm going to add some more red here later on another layer. We're going to show you. So I'm using Sizzix embossing folder, and this is just the, I don't know if the name is on this one. This is just kind of that leafy green, all right? So let's just emboss this. I'm going to just lightly spray this so I get a good, nice impression, and I just am kind of holding it out, a couple little spritzes on it, and let it go, okay? And I'm just going to run this through so that we just get this one here done and set and ready so that when we assemble, we're ready to go. Get a good, nice impression on that, because what I'm trying to do is layer up my texture on this card, okay? And I'm going to see if I can't just go one more shim on that just to give me a little extra on that to make that pop. There we go. All right, so my light's kind of glaring, so I got to kind of just rotate this to see if you can catch it. There we go. So I got a nice, good emboss on that. So I'm going to set this aside because that layer's just going to stay white. Easy peasy, done. Put that away. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to put this away for a minute, is I want to do a layer on top of this embossed layer of some more red, and I wanted texture. I debated if I was going to do candy canes. I debated what I wanted to do, but then I still wanted to stay glitzy, glammy, something, right? So I got out a fleur-de-lis stencil, and I am using Simon Hurley Lunar Paste. And if you have not used this yet, this stuff is awesome. And man, do you get some shine, do you get some texture out of this. And so here's what I've done. I've pre-made one. So I just want to show you techniques because it takes time to dry. And so what I've done is I had to move my stencil over so that my lines here around the edge don't get on my card. So I just bumped this over, okay? Then I just taped the edges down like so, and then I kind of hold this down. But now because I get halvesies over here, I want to cover that up because I'm going to extend this once it dries and interweave it. So here's what I had to do. All I did is I just took some sticky notes. We all love our sticky notes. I've got a video out there on tips and tricks on using this for this kind of stuff. And so just take your sticky note and cover up these halvesy ones. Because once this dries, we'll interweave this so it looks like one continuous pattern, basically, is all I'm trying to get here. Because once I cut this in half, I can get 2 cards out of it if I continue my pattern. All right, that's it. I'm going to do this piece. So here's the deal. Be careful when you are using your palette knife to push this so you don't get underneath and squish that paste underneath. So keep it nice and taut. Stay on that surface and scrape across and try not to gouge underneath. It's easy to do. I've done it. I've done it on my sample one that I tried over here, but we'll cover that up with probably the ornaments anyway. All right, I'm using a fairly decent amount. Lay it down like frosting, okay? And now just start scraping across. I also have learned on this, because we all do it, we all get just, kind of going fast and getting in a hurry because we can knock this little layer out. Just no hurry on this. Be gentle and just go nice and even and slow. There's no need to hurry, because the more you hurry, I promise you, you're going to get the tip of this palette knife stuck under your stencil and you're going to smush it. Okay? Scraping off that excess as I go, so I can use it over where I need it, and then if there's excess, we'll just put it back in the jar. Easy peasy. This stuff is smooth. Like, it is smoother than butter smooth on how it spreads. So now I just very lightly and slowly scrape that excess off, put it back, and then what you're going to want to do is have a little bucket of water next to you, set this in it, or if you got a sink close to you as I do, you can throw this in the sink and wash it right away, because this stuff hardens pretty quick. Now before I get a mess, I'm going to pull my sticky notes off, and I'm throwing them away and getting them out of my way before I get a mess. Now I'm going to take this edge and just lightly, so I'm going to hold my paper down and lightly pull this up, and now you've got a nice textured pattern piece of paper with incredible shine off of that lunar paste with a nice deep red. So we're going to set this aside to dry. I'm going to just throw this in the sink over here and be right back. Okay, I'm back after washing my tools. Now, I just want to show you. This is the one I made earlier just so that I had a piece that was dry for video, as my other piece is up here drying. So I'm going to cut this in half and use it going across my embossed folder. But you can see this is where I got underneath my stencil, but that's okay because I think I can cover that up with my bulbs when I layer them. All right, the bulbs, my favorite fun part here. All right. We're going to do a little bit of watercoloring, and we're going to use the Pigment White, and this is by Simon Says Stamp, and then I'm going to use my Perfect Pearls Confetti White to do, I want white and red. I know I've got white here, I already know, but I want to intensify that and I want to add shine because I want this to pop a little bit, okay? So I'm not going to use a ton of white. I'm just going to lay some down. I just don't need a ton because it's not going to color a whole ton as much as I just need it to stick and things. Then I'm going to use some red. I'm using my, I'm going to go Rockin' Red, and I'm going to go a little bit of Cranberry Fizz, so I get an in-between of these, because I didn't want something so bright red, but I didn't want something quite that dark either, so I'm going to go an in-between to do my red pieces. Let's do the red first. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just get this wet just a little bit, pull some of that off, mix this together so I get that in-between red, okay? And I need this to be pretty wet so that I get a good spread here. I am on Neenah Classic Crest 110-pound cardstock. It is not watercolor cardstock because I wasn't going to be laying a ton of water down here, and I thought for this I don't necessarily need watercolor paper. So, alright, what I'm going to do, and you've seen me do this on other cards, is I'm going to go every other so in here with some red, and then I'm going to go add a little bit of red into this, and probably no red on this one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I just go in and I'm going to color some of these red. And because this is not on watercolor paper, once I put this to paper, it sticks and soaks in pretty quick. So just be forewarned that that pigment could come out quite heavy because it's going to soak in right away. And I'm okay with that. I just knew, because I've done this many times on this paper, that that's what I was going to get. Okay, so I just knew full swing ahead that not using watercolor paper, what my result was going to be. So just know that when you're doing your cards, you know, it's good to kind of get to know our tools, our papers, our textures. You know, what's my result going to be. So just get used to that, and that honestly just comes with practice. You know, I have a watercolor challenge that I'm doing right now. I'm almost done with this 30-day watercolor challenge, and this is why I'm doing it. I'm doing it to learn the different papers. I'm doing it to learn the different techniques. I'm doing it to get comfortable with my own skill set at it, and then comfortable when it comes to expanding into different stamps versus just these typical stamps that I would normally do and not get out of my comfort zone to do an actual watercolor. So don't be afraid, you know. And honestly, it's just paper, right? You screw up, it's just paper. I can use the backside if I haven't ruined it too much with water and do it again, or use it for something else, and nobody will ever know the difference. So stretch yourselves. And that's what I've been trying to do with a lot of these stamps too, with Desiree stamps, is stretching more than what is on the surface of these cards. Yes, they're bulbs. Yes, I could just you know, watercolor them. I could watercolor pencil them. I could ink them. I could just stamp them. But like, what are my other ways to use these stamps? You know, I have not embossed in glitter yet. I have not done this just a plain, simple white and red kind of theme. And so stretch that limit just a little bit and get out of those little, like, the norm of what you would do. I'm adding just a little bit more layer into some of these so I can just darken it up a tiny bit, so that I get just a little bit more of a difference on these colors. I want this to pop just a little bit more than what it was, and that's it. That's all I'm doing. No particular reason than just filling in it just a little bit more and intensifying. It's the same as a normal watercolor. The more you layer, the more you're going to get intense color and get the shadows and the different effects from it. So just keep that in mind. This is water-soluble ink, so it acts like a watercolor once it's wet and you're brushing it on like I am. The less water you have and the heavier pigmented that ink is that you haven't diluted will also affect how this soaks in and how dark this comes out. So just know that too, right? Because if I don't have a lot of water and it's just straight ink, it's definitely going to be a little bit more intense. And it's definitely, once my brush hits that paper, it's going to stick where I put it a little bit more versus brush around if I have it just a little bit wetter brush when I do this. Okay, I am happy with that because I think the rest I want to have some white and some shimmer on it. So let's go ahead and do my next little step. Well, let's just finish my reds. I'm going to go to this one. And I'm going to just add some reds into the design of this one. I don't want to go probably as deep on this one. So I'm going to add just a little bit more water over here. Not pull so much of my cranberry in, but I'm going to use more of my rock and red. And I'm going to color those same little bloom pieces. Like so. So I can just get little splashes of red in here. Okay. Like that. Alright. Now, here comes my debate. I think I'm going to do both, but I could just take this white and my perfect pearls and just finish out the design and leave this area and not do that area. Same here. I could finish out this design and leave this area and not color that and just leave it white. Haven't decided. So I'm going to go through and finish my design and then kind of decide on the rest of that big piece of the bulb. So here's my perfect pearls. I have rinsed off my brush. I'm going to take and dip my brush in. It's wet, so it's going to pick up that powder. If anybody's done nails before, you know it's like picking up nail powder on a wet brush. Lay that into my ink, or to my this is the white, right, the pigment ink. Now I'm going to pick up, I got a little bit of red in here. Oh, I got a little bit of red in there, so I'm going to just take out of my bottle instead. And I got a little pink, but that's okay. That's alright. I'm actually going to pull some of this over and not do as much of the white. Alright, let me just rinse this. I don't have a new brush right next to me, so we're just going to rinse this one. Like so. Alright. It's hard to see because it's white on white, so I apologize, but I got a nice shiny white now, okay? I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to paint this in because as this dries back, that white perfect pearls is just going to add this awesome shine and shimmer onto this. And I can tell you right now, I've already decided the way that this is coming out. I'm going to fill in the bulb too. So I'm just filling in now the rest of my design that I did not do in red. I want this red and white candy cane themed bulb. I wanted, what I said at the beginning, I want a glammed out candy cane here. It's kind of my theme. And this is the same. The more water you put, it's a little easier to have this watered down when you have the perfect pearls mixed because it doesn't, that perfect pearls could clump and stick in spots versus it spreads around a little bit nicer when you got it a little bit more wet. And then I usually would go over and add at least 2 layers mostly because I can see as that dries back, you can see that shimmer sit on the surface of the paper. And then if it's not even, I just go through and I add a second layer because it kind of soaks in, sometimes not the best being even, until I get 1 or 2 coats in there. And just make sure you get all your little ones, get all those little babies in there. Get this looking nice and sharp. Alright, I am going to color this in. And I'm kind of looking at this down here at an angle so I can see it because it's white on white, so it's hard to kind of see. So I'm just going against the light here to make sure I'm getting it nice and smooth. And just filling that in. And I'm sticking with this same theme now for all 3. I don't want any extra texture. I don't want any extra colors to this. I want this whole card to have a red and white candy cane effect. Alright, I don't think the camera's going to pick this up the greatest. Let's let that focus. See if I get that shimmer to pop a little bit. It's hard to see. It's got a great, nice, glistening shimmer on it. Now I'm just going to pick up a little bit more shimmer powder and a little bit more white, just because that piece got a little pink and I don't want to pick that up. So, alright, we'll just add my water over here and we'll mix these two in. That way I'm not picking up that stuff that got kind of pink on me. When you mix this, it can kind of get a little grainy, but it'll dissolve. Just keep mixing so it's not so grainy on you, and it will dissolve. I'm adding one more layer into this bulb piece just to get a nice good shine in there, get a good nice layer of it in there so I get that to pop. You can move pretty quick on this because it does soak in relatively fast. Alright, I'm going to do the same now on the rest of these. So I'm going to fill these in, fill in the designs, I'm going to fill in the bulbs. I'm going to just throw this up on a little bit of high speed for you, and we'll be back. Okay, I have these embossed. I've got my reds in there. Now I've gone through and done my shimmer with white. I'm going to try to zoom in just to see if the camera will pick up this shimmer at all. Oh, you can kind of see it over here. Good, nice shimmery white. It got a little pale white, which is what I wanted, so I could just get that to pop up against that red. So we are going to fussy cut these out so I can start assembling this card. So I'm going to fussy cut and then I will be back. Okay. I have fussy cut out my ornaments. I have cut my lunar pieces to 1.5 inches. I'll show you that. Before we do, I just want to take and show you, I have taken the Tangled in Bloom set that we talked about at the beginning, which was this one. I took this corner piece and we're going to stamp it right on the inside of my card here just to carry this theme into the inside. I'm going to use Cranberry Fizz, my little darker of my red, because I just do need a little pop on that. I just want it, you know, nice and rich kind of on that inside. So take and line that up and just give it a little tap. And that's all I'm going to do is that one little detail on the inside. That's it. Okay? So we can set that aside. Now, I have taken, make sure I got a clean surface here, my embossing piece, my embossed piece, and I'm sorry that the camera's just probably not picking up the greatest. There we go. And cut that down to 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. Okay. Then I've got 5 1/4 by 4 1/2, 5 1/2 by 4 1/4, 1/8 less. If you watch my videos, you know I go 1/8 less because I don't like my stuff to go all the way to the edge of my card. Then I've cut that embossed piece, or this lunar paste piece, which was like this, right? I've cut it into 1.5 inch strips that we're going to layer on this. So let's start assembling so you can kind of see what we're going to do. I have taken from another stamp set the holly die and cut out some holly that we're going to layer in here. If I have it poking out enough that I can put some berries in the middle, we're going to use my Nouveau Dream Drops Rudolph's Nose, which has a little bit of shimmer to it for my berries. Again, keeping in that nice glitzy glammy shimmer as much as I can kind of theme for this card. Alright, let's just get some assembling going here. We'll start with these 2 base layers. And make sure that these are good and flat as I glue them down. And even. It does slide pretty good on this paper. Alright, let's just make sure that's good and flat as that dries. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to arrange these over top of that band, essentially, is what I want to do. Okay? Alright, so what we'll do is I'm going to layer it on my card next because then I can layer everything else on top of that and get this nice and flat down. Then you'll be able to see how I just leave a little 1/8 of an inch white border around my card fronts. That's just my preference. Okay, now recap. This is the Tangled and Bloom set and the Tangled Ornaments set by Desiree Tangles. Include a thank you. Head on over to her website. These are up. These are for sale. I think she's got good inventory on these right now. I also have a release video that I did with a whole bunch of examples, and I've got more videos posted and coming up on these. So all of these sets, all of her sets, the leaves I am just in love with. I can't get enough of those leaves. I've got videos out on those for the fall leaves. And I like that these are just so universal and I can mix and match. Alright, I'm going to throw this band down just about, not just under center. I don't want this down the center. I want a little bit more up here, okay? And then just making sure that it's straight. Okay, now what I've done is I've taken some of the same paper but in silver to line here, okay? So I just have to cut that down to size, and this was 3 7/8, I believe, 3 7/8. And 3 7/8, so we just got 2 little pieces of that. I don't think I cut that right. I know I didn't cut that right. Nope, I didn't. So we're just going to do it this way. I cut it, it was 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. That was the wrong width, but that's okay. We will go the good old-fashioned way and lay it down and cut it that way. Get myself one more strip since I ruined that one. Perfect. So we'll glue these down that way. I'm kind of working my layers from bottom up, because I know I'm going to be layering stuff over it. I don't want to tuck pieces, like I don't want to have to tuck this stuff up to trim everything out around the top layers. This is also a great card that you could just use any scraps that you have around. So you could just use some DSP, holiday DSP through here. That would work really, really well. Even little strips of this. I know we've all got little strips of something, right? Okay, so because this one's so plain and I want this to be the front, I've got enough design on the top of this one so it'll peak. So because I want to layer this in 3s. So I'm going to kind of layer it like so. Okay? So I'm going to glue this one straight down, and we'll pop up that one with the most design. And I'm probably going to have to weigh these down so they flatten out here as I go. Okay? So let's just weigh that one down and get that one to stick. I'm going to lay this one next, and I'm going to pop this one up on dimensional. So let's just get some dimensionals up on that. Because of course, you know, we got to have some dimensionals here, right? It wouldn't be a Christmas card. It wouldn't be a Christmas or holiday card without dimensionals, in my opinion. And texture. Love my texture. Alright, we'll just peel those off. Give that extra time to dry on that little piece. So like I said, these are just great universal cards. Can't get enough of them. And definitely the Tangled and Blooms and the other ones I can see using year-round. The fall one, that one's a year-rounder for me. Hands down, that one's a year-rounder. Alright. Now we're going to glue this one down. I'm going to have to kind of place this where I want it. So it's kind of going to go like so. I'm going to turn that one just like it's tumbling a little bit. Flatten that down. Now, sentiment. In this one, we have Joy, Noel, and Merry Christmas. This one, I think, fits any of those, to be honest. So we're probably going to have to do some embossing on a little strip because I've already embossed that piece down. And it'll be too rough to stamp over. And actually, I could just leave this blank on the front and put that on the inside. I think would be good because I think it'll take away from too much on the front anyway. So I think that's what I'll do is I'll stamp that on the inside for my sentiment. Alright, then this one we're going to go just a little kind of kilter this way. And like so. I got to look up at the camera too. Yeah, that looks good. I think I like that. Just like that. Alright. We got shimmer galore going on this card, and I just think that is beautiful. Simple, easy. I could knock out a whole bunch of these in no time. Obviously, that time that's going to take is the fussy cutting, right? But heck, do all this stuff and then just sit on the couch and start fussy cutting while you're watching TV, and you can fussy cut these out. They were really easy to fussy cut, and what I wanted to point out is when I fussy cut these, see all these little squiggles? I cut those off. I wasn't going to fussy cut around those. So if you look at my card, I cut all those little squiggles off. It still doesn't take away from the design of the stamp because you got so many other elements in here that I felt it was totally fine in doing so. Just my interpretation of what I wanted anyway, all right, I just want to take and stamp this really quick on the inside. Let's lay that out. I'm going to do, I think just a good old Merry Christmas. Just that simple. This way, this leaves me plenty of room to write on the inside too. And we'll do it in that same color, that cranberry color that I did the, pardon my head as I straighten my sentiment out here. All right. And I'll just grab that, put this back in place, using my cranberry fizz. Like so. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. This screams candy cane, candy cane, candy cane. Candy cane gets its glam. Alright, there you have it. A simple. Now, could this be a thank you card for Christmas? Absolutely. Take out the Merry Christmas and put thank you and say thank you for my Christmas gift or holiday gift or whatever they did. Thank you for my Christmas dinner. This could be a nice little thank you card rather than a holiday Christmas card, right? I'm going to go to my upcam. I'm going to see if we can catch this on the front side just to see if I can get a little bit better focus. Now you can see where I did the whites are too matchy because in person it's a little bit more shiny. So it doesn't look as vanilla-like that it does on camera, but there's my card. Hey all, I realized as I was cleaning up I forgot to put those holly leaves on there. So let's just go down to the down camera really quick, kind of show you the last little piece. I add those holly leaves in there just to give it a little extra something. I did 2. I thought 3 might be too much, just add a little something. So there you have it. Let's just do front little view, see if you can see those holly leaves in there. Alright you guys, thank you so much for hanging with me. Thank you so much for coming and checking out Desiree Tangles. She's got some great sets. Head over to includeathankyou.com. Check out these sets. If you want to do this design, you're going to need the Tangled in Bloom and you're going to need the Tangled Ornaments to get this design out. I will make sure I've got all the measurements of my cards that I made for my banners and things for you in the description below, as well as the links for all these products. So thanks for hanging. Don't forget, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and that like button and give me a thumbs up and a comment would be much appreciated. Love having you hang with me, and until next time, I'll see you then.